Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. We all know what time it is. It's time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing decent. For some reason, something wanted to make me cough. Anyways, I see everybody's here, and hopefully, you guys got through all those commercials that YouTube insists on putting before the stream, yet they never seem to pay me for them. So, anyway. Just wanted to go over a couple things as we start. But before we start, just like always, let's pop a top. If I can get this thing off. And just like the sign says, I hang out with my fans who are some bad motherfuckers. And let's get to it. All right. I don't know why I'm suddenly coughing, folks. I haven't coughed all day. Anyway, first things first, going over the stuff from over the past week. The first one that came up was the story by, you guys know him, Prozac and Pancakes. I think he might be in there somewhere. Yes, he is in the chat box. And yes, I'm going to give you the call sign you wanted there, Chris, until you tell me otherwise. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. I really did. I was actually snickering and laughing the first time I did it. You should hear all the outtakes. It's like a 20-minute reel of me just snickering and laughing, going, "Oh my God, you sneaky fuck. I didn't think you'd actually be able to do that." And he did. And as how you got everybody in there, dude, my hat's off to you. That was pretty good. I will say, though, I don't see him in the comments yet, but when you mentioned Brian Kemp there, and you mentioned the ship, the Kemp, I was about to put in a joke, which I figured was going to fall flat, but I'll put it here so you guys know it's coming. Where I was going to say, the ship called the Kemp, which translated to brother of Savior. If you guys know where I'm going with that, or I should say, if you don't, Life of Brian, Brian, huh? No, Brian, or however that line's supposed to go. From the satire movie. I think it was like something of the History of the Earth #2 or something like that. Or I don't know. It was a Mel Brooks movie. Anyway, I didn't think the joke would work. So it is what it is. But I got to give all the credit in the world. That was a pretty good one. By the way, he has sent me part 2. It is not up for grabs yet. I still have to get through this series and at least one more before I get to it. So there wasn't much on the comment section except for everybody saying that was freaking awesome, and I have to agree. By the way, do yourself a favor there, Chris. Don't rush your work. I haven't really gone over it yet, but please don't rush it. If you think you can do a better job and you redo it, send it to me. I'll use the newer version instead of the old one. All right, the next one that came up was the Drenched in Syrup. Now, that was actually a request by one of you guys. Somebody wanted me to do a story where a common product that we use here on Earth turns out to be an aphrodisiac. They find out by accident, which I've done stories like that in the past. I won't shy away. But since it was a request, I want to do it. And, well... yeah, there you go. Hopefully you guys got a big kick out of that last joke. I didn't think everything landed quite right with the whole eating thing. So I was like, you know what? I got to put it in people's faces. But there was some confusion. I tried to spell it out during the story. And the way it works is it literally allows the females of that species to, and I got to hold up because this just showed up right next to me. And I'm going to write down the $10 super chat from MTF Guard. Good to see you. And I know you got yelled out during the Some Secret Should Remain. By the way, I changed the name, Chris. I hope you don't mind. The Montauk Project, it didn't land. It just didn't actually land. But we have Guard here. He says, hell yeah, my 20th super chat. Also, greatly happy that crunchy on the outside, squishy on the inside came back. Really made my day this morning while I took care of the anime's Got Baby Goats. Anime Got Baby Goats. Oh, coming soon. Okay. The Amity's Got Baby Goats. Got it. And right below him, we got another $50 super chat, and I swear I've got to get on here. I keep forgetting or not doing it. I screwed up, guys. I should actually be able to hit a button here, but I need a dual screen for that. And that's when I move everything down to the basement. I'll have a multi-screen setup. And then I can just hit a button, and you guys got Garth and freaking Wayne going, "We're not worthy. We're not worthy." You know, I'm going to pick that up from a friend of mine. Anyway, Demon says, can't stay, unfortunately. Mandatory overtime again. Wow, you do a lot of overtime, man. That must be why you're flipping $50. You must be making a lot of money. So we'll watch the stream later. Short story idea. Okay, let me write this down. Humans are trap masters. Aliens go through the BS of the GIs went through in Vietnam, and more wells through in Vietnam, and more well as much as I hate to go, have to go. Good night. Okay. In other words, you want me to extend an old story, which didn't get a lot of traction. That's why I stopped it after 2 chapters, called "With Humans, It's Always a Trap." I'm going to write that down. And I'll pull that out of the file of all the series that aren't finished. Holy crap, you guys are on a roll here. We got a $20 super chat from Douglas Scarborough. He says, picture of a drill sergeant Slaughter for me would be good. Okay. Let me make sure I write down your name right so I don't mispronounce it. I mean, you guys are the only reason this channel still exists. So let me right here. Sergeant Slaughter. You know, I actually met him. I met him at Comic-Con over in New York City. And I'd keep talking, but Erica threw in her $5 super chat. And I'm going to blow my neck out one of these times doing that. And let me write this down quick, Erica. And she says, thank you so much for your amazing stories. I hope you had a good rest of the week and a good weekend. Well, it was okay. I'm having a little bit of trouble sleeping again, but I mean, hey, life is life, folks. It is what it is. I've tried everything short of pot brownies, and I'd really not want to do that, because if that doesn't work, there's only one other thing, and I do not want to be a combat veteran that gets magic mushrooms. No, thank you. I know some people claim it's like the greatest thing. You'll be out friggin' cold, and your sleep cycle adjusts and all that other stuff, but with the training I've got, I don't want to be hallucinating. Not unless somebody's going to chain me to something like that really god-awful movie back in the day. But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. We got Guard, Demon, Douglas, and Erica. Thank you again so much for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. Again, folks, I'm not ever going to beg for money, but I will always be appreciative of those who send it. Also, for those who are new to the channel, you should know that if you send any super chats at all, you get a shout out at the end of the video for the entire week. I don't sit here and play the whole, oh, this person gets a day and it just gets too confusing. You get the whole week. But if you send a full bill, that's not just a full week. That's 4 weeks. You get a shout out. And a certain person sent me twice that much, and I've got it written here. He's still on his 7th week. It ticks down. And I think you know who that is. Anyways, or whoever it is knows who it is. So thank you again, folks. And I'm going to get back into the story. So there wasn't any confusion. The reason why that substance did what it did is to allow from the very strict conformed society they have, where literally your spouse is decided from the moment you slide out of your mama. And they're like, oh, well, now they're trying to, like, the genetic diversity is not diverse enough. It's getting strict with just a couple of families marrying back into each other. With this, once the males pass the fuck out, they're going to still get whatever feeling they need, but the females are going to be able to go and to any male and get exactly what genetics they want. And nobody's going to be the wiser. Hell, they pretty much black out, which is the reason why the security guard kind of feels bad at the end. So hate to be a spoiler, but most everybody saw that one because it was a pretty big hit. So anyway, Let's see. One person put in the comments, yeah, if they're that bad, once they have some syrup, how bad are they going to be and how aggressive when they actually go into heat? Well, I have an ex-girlfriend who could answer that question. I thought I was going to be the one who died of snoo snoo at one point. Literally, like, lady, calm down. Let's see. People also had the classic in the comment section. Holy crap! I got to stop. We got a Chris Dixon saying, "Interrupting cow, moo." Okay, and you know you're still good for 7 weeks. You know that. So anyway, thank you very much, Chris, and thank you everybody else. I'm just going to run back to this. And by the way, guys, it was fun reading the debate in the comments section between who likes bacon and who likes sausage. And, you know, which one is better, whatever. I prefer bacon unless it is sausage I know where it comes from. Because a lot of this processed sausage gets extra garbage put into it. And I'm sorry, but no. One of the easiest way we do it is whenever the pork shoulder goes on sale, we'll actually buy it at like 20 cents a pound. We'll grind it up. We'll put our own seasoning in. We'll make patties. And you're looking at what, 40, 50 patties? I mean, seriously, they're like a quarter a piece. I mean, literally, when you do the math, it's cheap as fuck. So, especially compared to McDonald's, which will kill you. This, guys, I had to laugh. I did have to laugh on this one because somebody put in the comment for drenched in syrup, where is Space Murray saying you are not the father? And I had to read it twice because I wasn't sure. I was in my head. I was saying what I was supposed to. As soon as I did, I was like, okay, that's just funny, dude. That's just funny. However, I'm pushing more and more into stories where it's not naturally, it's not possible. However, genetic tinkering is already a thing. We already have it. So, I mean, I'd be a moron not to say, well, they could adjust a little bit here and a little bit there. Now, when it came to ambush predators, don't forget she was genetically altered. So that kind of fills in the gap. Let's see. Somebody there said death by snoo snoo. Somebody like the foxy ladies. They're not quite fox, but they're close enough. And yeah, they wondered if the guard accidentally got a girlfriend. If that story extends, that answer will be answered, but it didn't actually get the best of views, so it is what it is. Now, on to the third chapter of Death Orbs. A lot of people were actually confused on this one. They're like, okay, this is a good standalone. Where the hell's the rest of it? And thank you, everybody who actually put in the comment section when everyone's like, where's part 1? Where's part 2? And they, for some reason, YouTube decided to scramble it. I actually had to pull part 2 out of another playlist and put it back where it was supposed to. Hopefully it'll stay there. I'm going to have to check it again. But thank you guys for helping me out on that one. I do appreciate it. Now, for those who are trying to figure out what order it went in for anything beyond throwing range, it went from the N79 thump gun to the M203 or 320, which is a side loader, but it's the same damn thing. Jumped up to the M32A1, and that's the drum-fed one that unfortunately only the Marines can get a hold of, you lucky bastards. And then everybody's favorite, the Mark 19, fully automatic machine gun that fires grenades. If you guys ever watched the Chubby Sparky there, he did a whole thing on that, and he called it death by dial-up. And he's not kidding. The only thing I don't like about that is the lubricant you have to use. You cannot use standard weapon oil. You have to use a kind of white sludge that we affectionately call whale jizz, and you got to smear it all up in there. The reason I don't like it is not because it gets all over your hands, but because it's a very strong carcinogen. I mean, really strong. Like, I don't want to touch this shit. It's messed up. So, yeah, whenever we had to lubricate those things, I've always got full-on dish gloves on because I don't want to touch that crap. When the weapon's firing, though, it's awesome. Scares the shit out of everybody. Didn't they just fire at us? It's all blowing up around them. Oh, shit. But, yeah, that's how it goes. Now, I do have to say, a lot of people said, let's extend this to the death orbs like mortars, artillery, rockets. I do pose this question. Are those death orbs? The only reason I use death cylinders for like smoke grenades and incinerators and like that, because that's something that's able to be thrown. Could I extend it into that stuff? Yeah. But does it really fall into orbs? Not really. Again, I pushed it on the second one just because I needed something else to throw and I wasn't ready for Molotov cocktails yet. Although one person said, which I thought was funny, instead of saying frag out, why don't they just say catch? I did think about that. The problem is, if you yell to somebody who can't even speak your language, literally cannot speak whatever language you know, if you yell catch, they could be thinking something else. They could be thinking it's an insult. They could be saying, throw it back or something. They don't know. Let's see. Crunchy on the outside, as someone so nicely mentioned. First off, I hope you guys enjoyed the ending joke as the eating got a hold of people. And yeah, I had to do it, guys. I just had to do it. I was right at the end. I'm like, come on. It's gnawing at I'm literally reading the whole thing. I'm going through, and after about an hour of going through that, I'm like, I got to do something. I gotta, or these guys are going to give me shit. And like, it's such an obvious joke. I got to do it. So I had to do it, guys. And if you're wondering what the hell a captain's mast is, it's the same thing as a courts martial. So you're up for legal actions. But yeah, I just had to. Also, yes, that was Cajun cooking, folks. That's what I was getting at with the whole "I guarantee," which I haven't heard many people say in a long, long time. As far as part 5, when that dropped, yeah, the cost of teaching folks from square one does take a long time. I mean, I was a drill sergeant. I know how long it takes. I mean, people who should know their basics. I had people coming through into basic training who didn't know how to sign their own name. They didn't know how to tie their own boots. I'm not even kidding. They didn't know shit. It's like wherever they came from, they didn't actually know anything. It was a bad joke. All I can say is, did you grow up learning anything? And apparently they didn't. But you're right. Once somebody learns that skill and learns it well, they're worth a lot of money. However, I was actually on a other friend's podcast. I think it was just yesterday. I brought up the fact that, at least in our history, and I'm just talking United States, primarily down south, where for those that don't know, yeah, everybody knows the slavery thing was there. However, when the cotton gin was first done, that created a desire, a want, a need for more people to work, because suddenly you could actually crank out more product a whole lot faster, which means you needed more people in the field to produce more to go through the gin. It had the opposite effect. However, another piece of technology that only came out about 6 months after that war even ended, to end slavery, which, by the way, was not the reason for it. But to end that was a tractor. Believe it or not, that actually took the demand away from needing any more people working. If you have a tractor and the attachments and it can do the work of 20 people, you don't need 20 people. You need one. Well, why the hell are you paying these folks? So, yeah, having somebody who knows those skills, is it worth it? Yeah. But you got to remember, in that story, they're not using slaves or servants, which, by the way, in the comment section, he actually said, and I quote, the cost to teach servants skills. They're not servants. They're showing people how to live. Okay, here's a comment I got a little confused on. Maybe you guys can figure this one out. On part 5, they said the motorhome is a small spaceport. I don't get it. I don't get. If somebody can figure that one out, you're better than me. All right, that's it for the comment section to go through, and thankfully we got through that in about 20 minutes. And of course, I had to stop because all you wonderful people out there are sending me stuff. Anyway, I do need to let you know that the next Wargaming episode, it is fully written. I have not done the audio yet. I have not read through it. It's going to take a few days. Those, even though I just use still images, folks, it takes a long time to do that one. I just, whenever I go to get actual video clips, they want to charge me like 30, 40, 50 bucks for one fucking clip. And I'm just like, whatever happened to getting them for, get a subscription for like 10 bucks a month and then you get all you wanted. Well, apparently they don't want to do that. I haven't found a good one yet. So, I mean, if you guys know a good site where I can get decent clips, maybe like 5 to 10-second clips that I can just pay once and be done with it, send me an email. The email's down there in the Meat Gazer box down there, and I'll definitely look into it because it's driving me absolutely nuts. All right. Also, the next chapter for Crunchy on the Outside is, in fact, dropping tonight. However, there's one part that's not finished, and that's the part where I need you guys. You're already here. You're already on the side. Yep. You guys have sent in. It's the new week, which means you get your new shout-outs. Hopefully, with the new season around here that's coming up, which is syrup season, which I don't know if you guys have ever made syrup, but there's a lot of sitting around and watching shit boil. Hopefully, I'll have some more time to sit there and just jot down stuff. And by the way, I will do everything I can for any story ideas that you guys send to get to those. However, remember, this month is going to be almost exclusively towards continuing series that you guys want. By the way, it's already on here. Any series that you guys want extended, into the comment section below. I'll start writing them down. I already got one down here. It says It's Always a Trap. That's actually the name of it. Let's see. One of the things that actually came up online, and since everybody here knows their hard science fiction, i.e., you already understand your basic physics, I found this theory very, 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 very interesting. Now, most everybody here has heard of Tartaria and how there was supposed to be a big conflict and all this yada yada stuff. Well, I posed this idea. Supposedly, there was a colony on Mars. There's supposedly pictures of foundations of buildings and things like that, radiated areas that could only be radiated by nuclear material, and all this stuff that says there was some sort of big fight. Well, there's evidence on this planet that shows that certain weapons were used to basically melt entire buildings down. There's an entire mountain, I shouldn't say mountain, but fairly sized large hill that's made of brick that literally has been melted down. It literally just like a melted candle. It's off to the side. No joke. I wonder, could it have been possible that there were two inhabited planets, one on Earth, one on Mars, and they went to war with each other, and Earth just happened to win? But when they won, they got knocked back to the goddamn Stone Age? Makes you wonder just a little bit. Because you got to remember, the stuff we're talking about is stuff that would basically turn any planet into a freaking rock. You wouldn't even have to send ships up there to glass it. Directed energy weapons would do it. Speaking of energy, this is coming up a lot, and I just want you guys to be safe. Apparently, the cheap-ass lithium batteries, most of which are coming from China, are exploding. I mean, literally just explode. They're in exercise bikes. They're in some of the cheap-ass electric cars, some of the cheap-ass electric bikes, cheap-ass electric cell phones. They're just exploding. Just be careful, folks. If you think it's a cheap piece of shit, it's probably a cheap piece of shit. And those lithium fires are no joke. There's only one or two ways to put them out. And trust me, you guys do not have those chemicals around. Those are actually, they don't store well anyway. It's a type of foam, but it kind of hardens around it. It's weird. I don't exactly know what the name of it is. All right. Since we have people in the chat, I won't mention who like to play War Thunder while this is going on, I do put this. If you can actually do this and film it, I will be one of your first subscribers, because I see a lot of these channels that are going and taking a whole bunch of their guys and they're running all these scenarios. Like they'll take a bunch of planes and carpet bomb a town, but they do it in just this goofy, stupid way that doesn't make sense. They don't use the actual call signs. They don't actually fight with the team. All they're there is for clicks and views, which I think is bullshit because their teams keep losing that way. So if you can say, go on to their Discord servers, find out when they're going to do one of these. Say they're going to do a bombing run with, say, the Lancaster bomber. I'm just pulling something out of the air. Get a bunch of your buddies together and just troll the fucking piss out of them and put that on yours and say, well, we found these guys coming over and it looked like they're going to bomb us. So we just came down with a whole bunch of P-38s and Messerschmitts 109s and just gunned the living shit out of them. And down they go crashing and ruin their whole day. And they're cursing and they're screaming and yeah. Just, I think that would be funny just to troll the trollers. Am I wrong? All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about, well, I kind of already did. If you guys, again, you have a certain story you want continued on the channel, let me know and I will start typing them down. All right. This just came up because some of you guys were talking about the Gateway tapes a few weeks back. Apparently, you got to be careful because they're not all the original recordings. I don't know. I haven't gotten around to the Gateway tapes, and I'd like to, but you know, you got to find time for it. You got to be on a steady, constant schedule to do that sort of thing, and my schedule is quite erratic at this point. That being said, if you know the original Gateway stuff, by all means, send me an email so I can write that sucker down. I did get one email before, but I was like, I got to go and look it back up. Okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about before we get into the chat box, and that is, God help me, folks. I'm trying to make sure that not every single main character is a Sigma. Okay, I'm trying. God help me, I'm trying. The problem is I try to make a character I can look up to, which, as we know, like John Wayne and all them, these were characters that you would want to emulate. That being said, they tend to be rather cookie cutter. So I'm trying not to. Again, God help me, I'm trying. So if I end up making like 3 or 4 in a row stories or whatever, where very cookie cutter main characters, let me know so I can fix it, because I get better thanks to you guys. I can't get better without critiques. So if you guys say, oh, it's great, I'm just going to keep going with what I'm going, you got to tell me what's wrong so I don't fuck this up. I don't like fucking up. I don't think you guys like fucking up. And I want to make a good series for you. So that being said, I got my pen here. I got my pad right in front of me. So I'm going to go through, and if you guys have a story idea or if something you want to continue, by all means, put in the chat box. And I am going to scroll up all the way here to when all you guys were checking in saying, hi, how you doing? And stuff like that. And let's see. Doug's here. Chris is here. You guys. Oh, yeah. You guys were going over all the fun stuff from that. Yeah. Death Road in Iraq. Yeah. I remember that shit. I wasn't there personally, but I've seen plenty of photos of it. Yeah. The Highway of Death actually was done for a reason. You're right. And that really comes down to one thing, is they were hiding a lot of their HVTs, high value targets, in there. And they were trying to use the civilians as shields. Use them as, and you know what I can say? Fuck you guys. I hate to say it, but somebody puts a civilian in between. I feel bad for the civilian because I'm going to go through them. I mean, that's just the way it is. Let's see. Yeah, the reason we went to Iraq was never the reason they stayed. I know. And I tried to explain the guys at the VFW. I'm part of the VFW because my dad is. And I tried to explain to them why my generation just kind of want to leave that shit alone. I mean, it is what it is. Chris saying an A10 saved his ass in the sandbox. They are lifesavers. And I'll tell you what, they don't even have to hit their target. They just have to fire that gun for about 2 seconds and everybody runs. Or when they make that bank and that scream comes out, I start to think that they actually got that idea for the TIE fighter off the A10. I don't know which one first, because this is chicken or the egg. I'd have to look it up. But the scream of the TIE fighter coming in was enough to make everybody go, ooh. And now the scream of the A10, it's a much higher pitch. But when it comes in and banks in and just makes that deep whine, you're just like, ew. I don't care who you are, you pucker up a whole lot more. Yeah, warheads on foreheads. Yep, for sure. And yeah, the lowest actual air support I ever got as far as fixed wing was a F-18. Man, he was so low I could actually not only see the hard points, but I could see the hookups on the hard points under his wings. I'm like, dude, okay. Of course, I'm not counting rotary wing on that one because we had some guys watching over us, and I'll tell you what, those Hellfire missiles come in real fast. And again, I don't care who you are. You don't even have time to go, what the fuck was that, before something explodes. Let's see. Yeah, angry or screaming eagles, which is why they need to keep the A10. I wanted to put an A10 in space a little bit, and then I'm like, well, yeah. The closest you're going to get to an A10 in space during actual space combat is inside a Corvette class or higher, like they did in I'm trying to remember the show. God damn, I can't even do it right now. Anyway, it had a spine-mounted railgun on it. But the thing is, that took up like a third of the ship. So, yeah, you got to be careful on that because, again, that's a lot of force, and you're going to be shaking the piss out of yourself, along with your shit and along with your drool and probably your eyeballs if they're open when you fire. You know, that's a lot of force. Let's see. Yeah, you guys are still going over A10. Yeah, they want the F-35 to do the job as if it could. Well, it can, sort of. It can fight all the radar and stuff like that as it comes in. The problem is it can't fight visuals, and that's what the A10 is for. When you know you're gonna take a hit. Chris saying he did 4 tours, but never made to Afghanistan. I heard it was rough when you know how. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Chris. I did 3 in Iraq, and I know if my ESP was kicking in, and it told me that if I went to Afghanistan, I wasn't going to be walking out. So, Doug thinks the A10s will be around. Actually, they're being phased out. They have a new type of A10 that came out where the engines are lower. They are connected to the fuselage, sort of. But the only thing I think the A10 needed was an engine upgrade. It just needed to be faster. That's pretty much it. And it needed a longer loiter time. Yep, there's the whole Sergeant Slaughter thing from Douglas. I wrote that down. War Sniper Asen, I will not attend the live stream the next 3 weeks because of my internet connection and Wi-Fi will be down at 2200 in the evening EU time. So just so you know, as long as you're enjoying the not so Kitsune cat-looking, fox-looking aliens that are coming in, it's all good. And depending on which series you guys vote for, you might be getting those foxy ladies soon enough. Guard sitting there, love autocorrect. Tried to say animals, not. Oh, yep. I had to go run and lock my chickens right before this live stream too, which was not fun because there's a whole bunch of ice out there, and I don't need to end up on my back. I see the chiropractor again on Monday. Yay! Should hear the crunching sounds that come out of there. Anyway, Doug said, Chris, the reason we went to Iraq the first time, according to the info I got, Iraq, we found giant bodies with artifacts. Yeah, I heard about that too. The way you know for certain if that's the case, if the Smithsonian is part of it. The Smithsonian has been used. I forget the name of the family. It's like Smithson or something like that. They have been tasked for the past, I don't know, 100, 150 years to make sure that our history that we learn is what they tell us and not what the real history is. Because heaven forbid that you actually find out that, yeah, we found the ark. Yeah, we found the crucifixion site. Yeah, we actually found whatever it might be. They found all this stuff, and a lot of it's protected to keep it away from the Smithsonian, because the Smithsonian, when they're told, hey, you have to bring this out and show it to us, oh, it accidentally got destroyed. Fuck you. Hiding the truth from people never does any good. If anything, it just digs you a deeper fucking hole. Now, as far as what they found with the giants' bodies and artifacts, I got nothing. I've heard about it. I've heard very little, so I can't really say anything else. Douglas also said, and they also found a Stargate, along with other critters that were disposed by special teams. See, I didn't hear anything about this one. And I'm usually fairly well versed in this. I'm going to have to contact somebody and see if he heard anything weird, because he was actually in that area around the same time, and he would have heard something, even if it was just some strange comm traffic. The thing is, I keep telling him, dude, you think everybody sends everything through you? Oh, yeah, they send everything. Yeah, okay. There's always a private channel somewhere. Chris says, we got sent to recover a team that was tasked with recovering a strange green rock with what looked like runes in South Afghanistan. I saw it, but no idea why they sent a team after it, but it was a nightmare getting them out. If it's anything close to the Emerald Tablets, yeah, a lot of people are trying to make that quiet because they couldn't keep the Emerald Tablets quiet. They want this stuff just completely hushed up. And you know what? I just told you what I think of that. They can find the darkest part of my ass and kiss it repeatedly. They should just be telling us what they have, what they found, when they found it. But the problem is, a lot of these fuckers, especially the scientists with the degree, they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to admit that carbon dating is a pile of bullshit, because every single time one small factor changes, whether it's the percentage of copper in the ground when it starts to fossilize, can change your numbers by several zeros. And we're talking thousands, 10,000, sometimes millions of years in the calculation. They don't want to admit that, because then they'd have to admit that, guess what? Maybe the T-Rex was actually around 2,500 years ago or 4,000 years ago. And instead of being a lumbering beast, maybe that motherfucker had wings, like they're finally figuring out. And guess what? It had hollow bones. Hollow bones can't support that weight running. They can handle it landing, but it can't handle it freaking running. If it did move, it would kind of like how a duck moves. Da-boom, 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 really, really slow. Not to mention, until I think it was like 1845 or some crazy, I have it written down somewhere, the word dinosaur didn't exist. They were called dragons. So, yeah, the whole idea of St. George killing a dragon is a good possibility. But no, they don't want to admit that, do they? You fucking bastards. Let's see. Erica is sending something. She says, mugwort, small amount of blue lotus and sweet pea and mugwort. I can't give the ratios because I don't know myself. Or meditation blend tea by Meditation Blend Tea by Buddha Teas. Oh, okay. Meditation Teas by Buddha Teas. I might check that out. If you're concerned with medications, talk to someone who knows your medications and health better than me. These are harder herbs and blends. Or yeah. Honestly, I need something strong because most medications don't actually affect. Very few hit me at small doses. It's actually so bad. Whenever I've been under like gas or something, I keep having to tell them, when you're putting the stuff in with it, they go real slow because it hurts when at least it stings like hell when it goes into me. And they go real slow. I'm like, dude, hit the goddamn plunger because I'm not going to fall asleep if you don't hurry the hell up. And they look at me and I can feel them jamming in, and it's like fire in the veins. It's going up my arm. Like, I even look at the doc. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep all that quick. Why? Because I'm hurting so bad. And they watch it like, are you shaking your wrist? No, it's just pain. And then I'm awake for another 5 minutes. They're like, you should have been asleep 2 minutes ago. I'm like, no shit. Wait until this hits my system. Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can. Maybe that'll work. But eventually, with a strong enough dose, it does hit. But, to each their own. Everybody's body chemistry is different. Okay, up here, Douglas says, there was a spacecraft recovered in Afghanistan and the giant that killed part of the Spec Ops teams before it was killed. Now, as far as the Spec Ops team, unless somebody's got proof, I actually know somebody, again, on the ground. His job was to monitor any and all communications. Do I think they could have had something on a different band? Sure. But the chances of him not hearing something are very, very slim. And he was very quick to say the giant of Kandahar, if they did get something, it was so hush-hush that even he didn't know about it. And yeah, he would have known all the planes going in and out too, because that's the box he worked in. They controlled all the shit that went through. All the comms, all the flights, all the everything. Now, don't get me wrong. These guys are very sneaky. They know their way around all the rules. How do I know? Because they made the fucking rules. That's why. Let's see. Cheese says Somali pirates hijack spacecraft. Okay, I've done a lot of pirate stuff. Just like I did one. It's actually called Pirates Want Your Booty. It's just a joke name, folks. When it comes to hijacking spacecraft, all I can say is good luck. Unless somebody physically surrenders the craft to you, the chances are either they're going to shoot you on the way in, or they're going to detonate the scuttling charge as soon as you hook up, and then you're fucked. You're SOL and JWF on that one. That's shit out of luck and jolly well fucked. And it's just the whole idea of them actually getting up to the side and catching you, that went away with the age of sail. You can't even really do that now. They can, but it's a whole lot more difficult. That being said, the only way to actually hijack a spacecraft is to steal it at the port. And I'm just going to write down here, stealing spacecraft. Actually, now I got now that's cheese there. That's sticking in my brain a little bit, and I think I have a funny way of handling that. Excuse me, guys. This soda's kind of making me burp. Maybe I need more of it. And no, I'm not going to do shots again, folks. That was a one-time off. Somebody recommended it. I did it because he wanted me to, and I found out that scotch does not sit in me at all. The next day, I couldn't even keep water down. I thought for a second I was going to have to call somebody with an IV and, give me a couple 2000s just to make sure I didn't go into shock. Thankfully, it wore off eventually, but it was not fun. If I do that again, I'll just have to do it with vodka because I can drink a fifth of vodka and it won't affect me for shit. Let's see. Guard says, the one thing that bugs me about Dark Souls the most, 3, or most with Dark Souls 3, when you go to upgrade your vitality, is that it only adds one to how much weight you can carry. Okay. I wonder, playing Dark Souls, if you need vitality for all those succubi down there. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. By the way, that game is fucked in the head. I saw a couple videos of it when it came out. It is seriously fucked in the head. There's another one where some guy is going into basically an eyed wide shut thing to get his girl out, and it's wow. Just no. I actually had to turn off the Let's Play after about 5 minutes. I was like, I'm done. This is too fucking freaky to me. You know, literally a guy walking around with two heads. No joke. Two heads up here. I don't mean two heads up top bottom. I mean two heads, one on his shoulder. And no kidding. You know, I don't like spoiler alerts, but seriously, when you see one of the heads gets blown off with a shotgun, the guy's still walking around, his blood spurting out the side. I'm just like, what, who, where? Dude, what kind of drugs are you on? And where can I get some? And you know, that's why you talk to your kids about drugs. They might have better connections than you do. Anyway, let's see down here. Guard saying, and I'm not going to lie, some of the weapons in the game are heavy as fuck, especially the Dragon Slayer axe, which weighs 38 pounds. It's like only having 5 levels in vitality. Yeah, actually, speaking of axes, there's a certain person who wanted to be Kratos for the past week. And I'm not sure if he's in today. I haven't seen his name. And, you know, hopefully Graga's doing good. I haven't seen him in the chat box. But, yeah, whatever you guys want as far as your shout out, by all means, let me know. And don't worry, Erica. I got something special just waiting in the breeze, just waiting for you. And, yeah, it's going to drive War Sniper crazy. Anyway, James, he commented on the one I couldn't figure. He says, maybe the motorhome used a small spaceport. Maybe, but I didn't talk about motorhomes. That they were basically yachts and stuff like that, and personal craft. Now, I can kind of see where they were saying motorhome, because a lot of these craft are designed for multi-week trips, which means they have to have the bedroom, they have to have the galley, they have to have the shitter or the head, they got to have the bridge, they got to have the engine compartments, they have to have all this fun shit. So yeah, I guess it does make sense now that you think about it. Thank you, James. Thank you for clearing that up. Chi says Gatling cannons, heavy machine guns, and bolters. You know, there is an actual firearm that does fire a bullet on a rocket like a bolter does. It's actually a pistol, believe it or not. And everybody says the same thing. At short range, it's devastating. At long range, you'll be lucky to hit the ground. You're not going to hit anything but the ground, actually. It's just not good. That being said, bolters aren't a bad idea, if you don't mind all the extra stuff in it. Guard says, oh, hell yeah, I'm going into one of the most depressing fights in Dark Souls. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this giant's name. It looks like Horme, or like the chili. Yorname. See, that's I believe that's Celtic. And I can't. Guys, seriously, I can't do accents for shit, because I speak 3 languages. I speak English, bad English, and infantry. That's it. So anyway, Chris is here. It says, you're talking about a place in India which is still irradiated. That was India? Okay, I didn't know it was India. I thought that was in the eastern part of California. Okay, thank you, Chris, for clearing that one up. Actually, from what I hear, there's more than one, and you can actually find stamped bricks in there. People usually don't stamp their bricks anymore, and these are old school type of bricks. They're not built the same way they're built now. And he adds on here, we're a species with amnesia. See, that's what happens when you go through a reset like that. There's a lot of shit that's coming out that's trickle truthing us. I hate the trickle truth. Guys, I have broke up with women because they want to trickle truth me. It drives me absolutely crazy. Just tell me the truth straight up. Let's pull the Band-Aid off. It might sting a bit or it might not sting at all, but let's get this done. And yeah, it's for example, one of the things is they had huge facilities dedicated specifically to raising infants and babies. And we're talking for hundreds, sometimes thousands at a time. Why would you need something like this? You don't. Not if you still have parents around. There wasn't a huge disaster at that time. It wasn't the bubonic plague because this was after we had electricity. We're like, what the fuck over? It makes me wonder if some sort of quantum immortality shit might be happening and they might be able to get ready to throw the fucking lever again. When that happens, we're all going to be screwed. Because if they did, now in that same area, now again, quantum physics is very, very, very strange. For those of you who don't know what quantum immortality is, that is if you get to a point where your life is going to end, quantum physics will dictate that you're not supposed to be ending at that point, and you'll be pushed into another timeline where you survive said event. And then you just kind of remember everything different. Now, a lot of people believe that's the whole reason for the Mandela effect. If we've all been quantum immortality shifted as a mass, as a planet. However, there is a point where you can actually shift over in the same aspect. It's not quite quantum immortality. It's literally a transfer from one dimension to another. If they simply transferred all the adults away or all the kids away to a different dimension, and everyone else is like, wait a minute, we just shifted, or what the fuck just happened? Nobody's here. We got to take care of these kids. It blows the mind. It boggles the mind. It don't try to think of it logically, folks, because it will hurt. And that's the problem with a lot of the quantum stuff is it's weird because left can mean up and down can mean somewhere over that way. You know, it's just the way it goes. But could they possibly give an entire species amnesia? I don't think it's really quite the same as I'm thinking, or as it's going to work. Okay, down here, Erica says, it's a trap. It's an earlier one, and the government sent older people that got made younger, sent them on a rescue mission. Oh, let's see. It's an older one, and the government sent older people that got made younger, sent them on a. Oh, okay. You're mentioning three different ones here. It's a trap is one of them. That second one, where people that got sent out because they got adjusted and they're not considered fully human anymore, that was ambush predators. So I'm going to write that one down. And let's see the files. I got to check the files. I actually stopped doing the files because I was noticing the amount of views on that. And it was literally, I would get like 1,000 views a day, 1,000 views for all the sci-fi stuff. And then I do the files. It's like 300. I was like, what? And that was a good day for that one. I'll look into it. I'm taking these down. I'm writing them down. Let's see. Excuse me. Chris jumps in and says, also lithium fires, they release poison gas as they burn. Yes, they absolutely do. Which is why I say, if you ever see a lithium fire, you get it. And if it's not going to spread, you need to just get as far away from it as possible and just let it burn. Those electric vehicles, if they're overloaded and they actually catch fire, like an actual Tesla truck, which I think that's what the guy wanted to do when he blew one up in front of the Trump building, they will burn for days, literal days. And even after 3 days, when you don't see flame, you don't see any coals, you still can't touch it because it's so damn hot. It's crazy. Why we're still using lithium, just it irks me to no end, because we got better stuff, things that aren't dangerous, and we just okay. there is a type of cobalt you can use for lithium that's not quite a rare earth mineral. There's I'm trying to remember the name of it off the top of my head. I remember seeing it, and it was using a type of graphene as its core, and it worked great. The problem is they work too well, and people can't keep making more and more and more money on it as these things wear out. Pure and simple, it's all about the money. It's all about the rutabagas, which is I say that instead of the two big names out there who seem to want to run the world saying, "Oh, we own everything, so we say what's right." I call them rutabagas, both of them, because they both start with R. And they're a real pain in everybody's ass. That's what they are. They're the reason why we don't have anti-gravity tech at all. That are also repulsor tech, which is the same thing. They're the reason we don't have actual free energies. They stop the 0 point generators that you can just hook up to your house. I mean, shit, they're now with the new technology, they're only about as big as this bottle. You know, I'm like, come on, what the fuck? But they wrap it up and say, "Oh no, it'll damage the country by damaging the finances." With everything that's going on, and for those who don't know about the whole Doge thing, right now they're going and cleaning the fucking house anyway. They need to go in and say, "Hey, see this technology? Let the people have it. Let them have it. Let a few people blow themselves up because they want to tinker with it, and then we'll have better stuff because somebody's going to figure it out. Somebody a whole hell of a lot smarter than me is going to figure it out because I can't do the engineering stuff. I'm not trained for it. I understand it, but I can't think the same way. Just like some people can't just come up and write a story like I can. Some people can try, but they don't actually get it. However, with a little bit of understanding, you get the basics down, and that's the key. As long as you understand the basics, the rest is easy. So anyway, let's see. I kind of went on a side rant on that, guys. But yeah, Chris, you're right. The lithium fires are no fucking joke. And one of the scariest ones I seen was this young girl. She's like, "I'm going to see what's inside this lithium battery." And she's gouging at it with a knife. Well, she put the knife right on the, God damn it, I just had the name in my head, the conductor piece on the top. And she dragged down, and as soon as she poked through, it actually did explode in her face. Now, did it cause any damage? I don't know. I didn't see the after effect. That's where the video stopped. All I can say is if she got away without scars and with her eyes intact, she is very, very lucky. Although I just did see a video, folks, and for those of us that know how to actually jumpstart a vehicle, you're going to sit there and go, "How do people fuck this up?" But I kind of felt bad. I was going to take this video down, send it to a buddy of mine who does a series called Fucked Up But Funny. And, but no, this was just fucked up. They cross-wired. So the wires are actually burning. Everything's melting off. And some girl's like, "Oh my," taking her phone. "Oh my God, this is so strange. I don't know what the hell's going on." Her friend goes up to one of the other cars, tries to take it off the battery, and the battery explodes. This is a lead acid battery. That again, no joke. That is some very, very toxic material, and it's fucking acid. So yeah, I really don't want to see the aftermath of that shit. Anyways, back to the comment section. Guardian says, "I remember reading about how the Vedic scripts detail flying machines and tales of war between two civilizations, with one of the backgrounds being on the moon. Oh, battlegrounds being on the moon." Well, with all the things I'm hearing about the moon, I wouldn't be surprised that the moon was an actual space station that's left up there. Apparently, you can drop something on there and it rings like a damn bell. It's perfectly symmetrical, and it shouldn't be. The craters are all exactly the same depth, which again, statistical impossibility. And the fact that it doesn't rotate, it's geologically synced. So one face is always facing the earth. A lot of these don't make sense. So there's that. But one of these days we're going to find out, and we're just going to look at our leaders, go, why didn't you tell us before, dumbass? It didn't change anything. However, there is one theory that the pole shifts are only stopped because we have an artificial moon locking us in place. I don't believe that, because the poles are currently shifting, and they're shifting. If you actually take the globe and turn it so you're looking at the North Pole, it's shifting more towards Russia. So now the rest of Tartaria is going to be completely under ice. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. War Sniper says, speaking of science fiction to science fact, dude, I know it's spell checker. I wonder if you're on a mobile device. America has lasers now that they are good against 3-tier drones. Yeah. The thing is that a lot of people don't like being around them because they kick off a lot. I mean, those things got to be shielded really, really heavy. But the thing is, the drone still has to be flying pretty much straight. And you got to still hold it on there for a couple of seconds. But now it's really short. It used to be like 7, 8, 9 seconds. Do you have any idea how hard it is to literally hold a laser no bigger than this on target for that long on a moving target a couple miles out? Or we'll say like half a dozen kilometers or better. It's not easy to do. Now these ones, they hit so hard and hit so fast that they'll actually burn through in, what is it, like a quarter of a second? Something like that. The thing is, it still has to stay on that target just for that extra quarter of a second, just to damage the electronics. I haven't heard or seen anything yet where they can just turn up, do a quick zap, and the drone falls down. That being said, they do have plenty of stuff that will scramble the electronics. And as long as you can do that, drone is going to splash itself. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. The fact that energy weapons should, in theory, replace ballistics. I say should because there's positives and negatives on both sides. You guys heard enough in all my stories. I don't have to go into a lot of deep depth on that one. Cheese says, Somali pirates hold an alien ship hostage, starting off a war. They could... See, the thing is, if there's no one on there that they care about and they don't actually want the ship, they'll just blow it up. I mean, it's a good concept, but does it fully pass the sniff test? Hold on. Nope, not quite. But again, could you jack a ship at a spaceport? Absolutely. Okay, sorry, this thing jumped again. Give me a second, guys. Okay, for some reason this thing jumped a long way. Give me a sec. I gotta scroll all the way back up there. There we go. Okay, Douglas says, on the line of things that can't be explained, Sin, Mohenjo-Daro was irradiated by a nuclear weapon, and a pyramid in Indonesia was made 25,000 years ago. And it has unopened tombs. Apparently, that one in Indonesia, they're worried because, according to legend, just like the one in China, it has a shit ton of liquid mercury in it. Liquid mercury, again, is one of the most toxic materials. If you get it on your skin, you're pretty much fucked. I mean, forget pretty. If you say you dip your hand in, you might as well just go, give me a pen so I can write my last will and testament. And I got about 3 minutes, so hurry the fuck up. I mean, you don't even want to be around it to breathe it. It's dangerous shit. But as far as the one being irradiated by a nuclear weapon, there's a lot of things now that they're seeing as battle scarring. And honestly, if we're actually at war with another alien species, let us fucking know. Do you have any idea how many problems we would be solving on this planet? We realize we need to get ready to face off against friggin' ET. ET getting, ass raped by the predator or something, phone home. Oh. Anyways, Chris says, Guardian says those are the Volmana. No idea how to spell it. Okay. And I'm probably mispronouncing it too. Guardian says those same ancient scripts where what the guy who built the flying machine before the Wright brothers, but was trying to get more funding to continue his R&D when the famous flight happened. Yeah, I heard about that. And he had it was similar, but it was actually a different design. It looked a lot more like our modern aircraft now. She says Somali pirates hijack alien ship and try to ransom it back to a species that owned it. Yeah, that would work. That part would actually work. That does that pass the sniff test? Oh yeah, that's some good shit. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get in trouble with that joke one of these days. Okay, Erica, story idea. There are 3 races that live underground, and they finally get fed up with the blue lines and help humans go again. 3 races live underground. Okay. Fed up with blue lines. Oh, is that like the don't cross blue lines? And help human. Okay. Humans. Okay. I will see what I can do. Boy, geez, you just love the stealing of the ships idea here. Story idea: hijackers hijack an alien ship and try to figure out how to ransom it back to the. Okay, yeah, that works too. That's passing the sniff test right there. Also, Blue Line sold all of Earth out to ET. Yeah, I could see that one. War Sniper, when will we get the Isekai? Well, you put in your vote. That's what I asked for everybody. What do you want for a vote? I knew you would be voting for that one. Ava's saying, I'm awake. I'm awake. How much you want to bet? I'm going to scroll down and people are going to be saying duck now that Ava's here. Yep, there it is. There, I see Erica. I think is the first one there. It says duck. Chris says we were told the thing was stolen from Baghdad and it was near El Salvador in South America. Really? That's very interesting. That is very, very interesting. I don't have any additional information, so I can't comment really. I don't. Again, it'd be nice if I knew something I don't know, but I don't know what I don't know. Wars Never says, "Hey, Eva, have you hinted? Have you hit it? Anyone should be have you struck? Anyone in Helldivers 2 with your hell pot?" Yeah, haven't seen you in a while there, Ava. We were getting worried. Let's see. Yeah, Chris says, "Oh, Ava, you were in one of the stories." Yes, they were. Ava, I do recommend you look up. It was at the beginning of this past week, so I think it was Thursday. It was Some Secrets Should Remain Buried. Let's see. Douglas says, we're going to catch hell next week in Oklahoma. Monday, ice, freezing rain. Tuesday, Wednesday, snow, top with ice. Oh, crunchy shit. Now, I'm up here in the Northeast, and I grew up in snow. I also lived some time in Buffalo, and I got to stop and wait a second because we got a $10 super chat from Brian, and I don't know if you heard what I was saying before. I was trying to do a joke on Prozac and Pancake story that he sent in because he did mention you there, Brian. And I was going to make a joke about the ship called the Kemp, and how if you translate it, it said son of the savior, Life of Brian, all that stuff. But I didn't think that would fly too well. You're going to have to let me know if that would have actually been funny. But thank you very much. Brian says, enjoy the stories. Keep up the great work. I will do my goddamnedest. That's for sure. I'll tell you what, some days it takes like 4 cups of coffee before the cranium starts actually turning. But yeah, I'll do what I can. And let me scroll back up here because you guys were bringing up some pretty interesting stuff, especially things being dropped off somewhere they're not to. Oh, as far as the snow and freeze and rain, I don't know where you've actually had chance to, if you've actually done any driving in snow. Just do yourself a favor. If you start sliding, get your feet off all your pedals. If you have a stick, drop it in neutral and just keep the wheels facing whichever direction you want to go, and just let your ass end do what it's going to do, folks, because if you try to force it back, you're going to spin. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I've seen it. The best way to learn how to deal with that is when this snow comes in, it's all nice and thick snow. You find yourself an empty parking lot and you go and you start drifting a little bit and you learn how to control that sucker. Only takes about maybe 10 minutes. You're going to have a blast doing it. But I think any kid should have to do that so they learn how to deal once they start to slide. But yeah. On a separate note, War Sniper Series, what picture is Erica going to pique my interest with? You'll have to wait. Okay. Chris says there's a place in California and England. Then there's High Brazil, which is a sunken island. Yeah, I heard about that one. Southwest of England, which has something to do with the Human Preservation Project. Yeah, for those who don't know, the Human Preservation Project actually stretches all the way across that area into Norway. And they actually have a seed vault actually built into one of the mountains where no matter what, it never gets above about 35 degrees. And the whole idea is so they have the vault. So in case everything goes to complete and total shit, the chance of that area getting nuked is almost nothing. And they'll be able to at least plant the seeds to grow the food so the population doesn't kill each other. See, Ava saying hi to everybody. Ava still say, Chris, what do you mean? I was in a story. I know it was the one a while ago, but not recently. Yes, recently, Ava, very recently. Douglas, speaking of weird stuff, there are rumors of off-world colonies in other star systems and other dimensions. Now, do I think other colonies on other worlds in this dimension? I seriously doubt that. If they're going to do anything, it is going to be a dimensional shift. Now, if they have some way of jumping from world to world to world and somebody's hiding that technology, as one of my buddies says, someone's gonna die because everyone's gonna be pissed. If they're trying to hide, say, a paradise world for themselves, people are going to be extremely mad. And it won't matter how many drones or how much surveillance, someone's going to be pissed off enough. Somebody's going to be lone wolf enough to just end them. No, Leonid, nobody likes lithium fires. You don't want to be around them. Guard says, okay, for the giant, the best way to describe it, it's named simply is Yorm in short. They're literally fighting him in the city, and he used to rule amongst the burned and charged corpses of his people. Ugh. Because they tried to light the first flame, but since it's always been human to do it, it doesn't. Oh, because it's always human to do it, it doesn't like that and decides his whole city would sacrifice, which were a bunch of humans. In short, the first flame in Dark Souls is racist. Nice. Let's see. Warsniper says, are fires that are invisible to the naked eye, but are visible in some spectrum possible? In our current dimension, no. Not that I'm actually aware of that I've ever even heard of, because fire is a chemical thing. It's a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions are strictly a 3D thing. we will be able to see it. However, some of them at certain temperatures are rather hard to see. Is there certain heat signatures that come up that you can't see? Absolutely. If you look at the heat waves above a fire, that's not visible. You kind of see the bleh through it. It's all sorts of messed up, but that's not officially the fire. It's just different. Let's see. Leonid, I have a story idea. A talking horse who has a human sister. Okay. Horse is a horse, of course, of course. A horse talking to his sister. Yeah, even worse numbers like, geez. Imagine combining something the size of a military cargo plane, as fast as the A-10, and the armament and a massive arsenal on board. We have that. It's called the Spectre gunship, also known as the AC-130. The thing carries on standard 4 friggin' miniguns on it, which fire about 6,000 rounds a minute. 2 40-millimeter cannons, which are nasty shit, usually with high explosive, and 105 howitzer in its belly. The C-130 is a military prop-driven cargo plane. It's all the weapons are down on the left side. So if you're ever playing Call of Duty and you're doing the missions where you're overwatching somebody and you're firing down on, that's from a Spectre gunship. And you notice it's always circling in one direction. Just like that stupid, the band One Direction. It's always going that one way because it has to. You can't turn the other way and the guns face the other way. They're fixed. They're fixed on that one side. Now, they did an alteration for the whole, I don't know if it was White House down or whatever, where they brought one of these into a city and they actually fired out both sides at the same time. That was just for show, where they took down two, I think it was F-22 Raptors at the same time. For those who know, that whole scene is laughably stupid. However, for those who are not sitting here and know exactly how it would have gone down, it's entertaining. I mean, let's face it. We watched Independence Day because we wanted to see the White House get blown up. And that's why everybody went. So watching the White House get blown up, I guess, is just entertainment for the masses. For one reason or another. Let's see. Chris says, Ava, yeah, you are in some secret. Yep, I already mentioned that. Geez, sounds like a flying fortress type aircraft. Yeah, it does. Lenin says, why not just build Lorentz plasma taser? I can't pronounce it. The plasma laser. You're going to have a phaser gun from Star Trek. If they're somehow able to get that, you can pretty much kiss a lot of weapon systems goodbye. Because let's face it, all they're going to do is send in drones at that point with that same weapon system on them just to fry everybody. Eric is in there. War sniper. Bad kitty. Where's my super soaker at now? Oh, you guys are funny. You guys are funny. Actually, speaking of that one, now, I don't know if you guys ever, or any of you are old enough to remember the original Transformers cartoon, but there was a scene in one of the more famous episodes where Ravage goes up and goes after the human guy, and he's holding one of those giant pistols, and he's like, it's Ravage, bad kitty, and shooting at the damn thing. Well, during the Transformers movie, the live action one, we see, something get shot down from orbit and land, and it turns out to be Ravage, but they gave him like a mono eye or whatever. And I actually stood up as people are going, what the hell is that? And I go, Ravage, bad kitty. And the whole place just starts laughing so hard. And one guy down the road, he goes, dude, you beat me by like 2 seconds. Although I have to do stuff like that because my brother actually pulled off this one during the one of the Batman ones where they introduced Robin, and they go, what's the R for? He goes, retard. No, we just start dying. I'm just like rolling on the ground. As a few people had to leave. They're laughing so hard they're about to pee themselves. So always those jokes in the middle of nowhere. Okay, Douglas says the place in India sin is Caesium 123 isotopes in weapon level quantities. Oh crap. I'm not too good on all the different isotopes, but that one rings a bell, and usually that's a bad thing. Let's see. Guard continues with his and now I'm trying to fight the dancer, and she just 3-tapped me. God, I hate her bullshit moveset. Still playing Dark Soul, but the thing is, playing a dancer? Are you playing as the dancer? Because I gotta give you a homo suspicion point on that one. But if you're playing against the dancer, just get up close and have her do the whole leg wrap thing, and then you're good. Okay. Oh, I like that one. I'm too stubborn to die. Yeah, I'll believe that. People have told me that too. Let's see. Elena says, first stage in Isekai, invent modern toilet with magic. So that's one that's going out right now. I think that's where your brain is at, because there's an Isekai where the guy does that, and it's only about halfway done. The kicker is, I remember seeing the first like 2 chapters of the manga back in the day, and I'm like, yes, at least for that long they stuck to it, and it seems like they're doing better now. Usually when they adapt something from the manga, they fuck it up somehow, and they fuck it up big. And one that's out now, they fucked up big, because I saw the first episode. I'm like, why does this look familiar? Why is this? I can't remember. I can't place it. All of a sudden, I thought about it. I was like, really? You dulled it down that much, you pieces of shit. Now, the one where the guy makes the modern toilets, and yeah, I think that's the one I think that's one you're talking about. Not the Isekai story I made up. But yeah. Bribe Spider to produce silk underwear. See, the thing is, I had stopped reading before I got to that point. So now I'm like, okay, I want to see the rest of it, because I didn't get to finish reading the damn thing. That being said, the one Isekai, or not Isekai, the one where the guy finds the world tree, and the overseer of the world tree trains him to be a bad motherfucker, and he gets like 2 magic eyes on top of his regular eyes or some such crap like that. I kid you not, if you haven't read the manga, I couldn't actually read past the first chapter, because I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Some lonely guy is off in the woods. He sees a tree that looks like a freaking naked woman, minus the head, with her hands up. That's where the bush was, with her butt sticking out. And he literally screws the tree. And when he finishes, apparently the tree liked it and pulled him down to the bottom of a labyrinth. And that's where that's supposed to start, instead of him being betrayed and then throwing himself down there. I'm like, come on. That was just a bad story. I can't. Every time I see it on my feed, I'm no, go away. So, yeah. Okay. Brian's back. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Eric is saying super soakers, as in water gun brand. Yeah. Those, they're great. The problem is they won't sell them anymore, because it looks like a gun. Oh, it's shaped like one. You can't even do this movement in school. I kid you not. You get either written up, or they call your parents or something like that. I'm like, this is insane. More Sniper says, oh yeah, he's not stubborn enough to wear a maid outfit, Ava. Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, I don't think. Maybe I would. I don't know. Let's see. Brian says, my ship was blown up. No, your ship was the key. Now, I will say this. It took me a second. I actually went over that part like 3 or 4 times trying to get it right. And I kind of didn't quite make the mark when I was reading it. But the whole idea is that burst of energy was the actual catalyst. When it was breaking things apart, yeah, it was breaking it apart. But if you read between the lines, it was working very, very slowly. When the ship exploded, the energy transfer from the ship into the actual breaking of the distortion field that was covering everything up, that's what made it spiderweb out and then shatter. Let's see. Erica says, War Sniper, for the fire, the best I can answer is ethanol fires. Ooh. Ethanol is an ethyl alcohol. Light it and throw. I got Steve here. Hey, Steve, I haven't seen you in a while. Try that in an 18-wheeler. No, thanks. Let's see. War Sniper says, I've seen a part of a movie that they dealt with a fire that was invisible to the naked eye. I'm at a loss on that one. I haven't seen it, but I don't get to see a lot of movies either. And as soon as they saw an actual fire, like wood fire burning in the vacuum of space on Star Wars, I'm out. I was already out, but I'm not just out. I'm running away because that was just dumb. Let's see. Douglas says sulfur fires and some alcohol fires can only be seen in darkness. That part's true, but they can still be seen with the naked eye. You just have to cut out all the ambient light. Let's see. Steve says, Puff the Magic Dragon rains hell on Earth. Well, we actually had dragons in this world, and the chances of them actually being able to breathe some sort of fire is actually possible. And somebody brought this up a while ago, and he was saying how in one, I don't know if it was scripture or historical, whatever it might be, they said that a certain dragon, and that's before they started using the word dinosaur, would come out of the water. And when they described it like a giant alligator. And they said this, if it snorted, would actually snort fire and just scare the living crap out of everybody. Well, when they looked in that area, they found the fossilized head of one of these big ass gators or crocodiles or whatever it is. At the end of the nose was this strange bulbous top. Now, the thing is, we got nothing but the bones. We got no chemical residue. We can barely see what was inside because a lot of the small little pieces are worn away. What's to say that wasn't a chamber to hold some sort of flammable liquid? Because certain acids, when they spray and mix together, they cause a flame. And when they did that really bad British dragon, well, they call it dragons, wyverns, but when the Brits did that called Rain of Fire, they even described that where you actually project two different types of acid in a mist form. When they go together, they actually ignite. And the thing is, they actually turn into a type of napalm, actually. Not quite as sticky and doesn't burn quite as long. Well, not nearly as long, actually, but it does happen. But the thing is, again, all we got is to work with was the bones. But here's the kicker. If you took an eel skeleton and just showed it to somebody, they would say, oh, that's just a snake. Are you sure about that? That's the key thing. We don't know what the hell was on those bones. Okay. Lena says, what you call battleships, I probably call that destroyers. Well, the thing is, they actually have a specific role. It's actually the role that they played this, at least with me. When I talk about things in mine, they have a specific role or they have a specific setup. You know, a Corvette is usually set up for about a half a dozen to a dozen people at absolute most to survive on. Usually only one main weapon if they have it, couple point defenses. It's designed for recon mainly. Then you work your way up to frigates. Frigates are purpose-built ships. If they're carrying a shit ton of drones, if they're carrying a shit ton of torpedoes, whatever it might be, they are very purpose-built ships. There can be a medical frigate. There can be a distortion or scrambler or a communications type frigate. All that. They are specifically made. A destroyer is about the same size. Mainly, it's got light armor, designed mainly for speed, but has variable weapon systems all the way across with no specific capital ship weapons. I'm going to say that again. No specific capital ship. Can it do some damage? Absolutely. Could it take a capital ship down if it got lucky? Just like the Lefay, I believe it was able to take down a Japanese battleship, but it had to get close, and they got fucked up, seriously fucked up. I think they ended up getting sunk eventually because they went in for seconds, but it was bad because they just don't have the armor to take all those hits. But again, it's more for a quick reaction and being able to defend also. Frigates also, again, anti-torpedo and stuff like that could be sent for that same purpose. However, they're specific. Destroyers are general. Above that, you got your cruiser class. Not fully designed. They're considered jack of all trades, master of none, because they do have capital engaging weapons or capital ship engaging weapons, but they do not have enough to go toe-to-toe with an actual battleship. Could they do some serious damage? Absolutely. However, they're to coax the middle ground. They carry heavy weapons. They could take out several destroyers, but they're not designed to go toe-to-toe in a slug match. Not for very long. Battleships are above that, and they are specifically designed for slug matches, as in we're going to fire as much ammo as possible in that direction, and I'm going to kill that motherfucker down there, that big bulbous bastard who's firing at us, but I can't have enough weapons on me to take out all the other targets, which is why, again, that's why you would have frigates or destroyers or cruisers or something around battleships to protect them. If you look at the Nova class, which was considered a dreadnought in Babylon 5, the same thing. It was designed to put out a hell of a lot of hurt. It brought all the party favors when it came to taking out capital ships, but it couldn't defend itself against fighters for nothing. So that's why it had a whole bunch of support around it all the time. As far as dreadnoughts go, those are up-armored and up-gunned battleships, specifically to take out or to go against entire fleets. That's what they're designed for. Anything larger than that would fall into the Titan class, which, as we all know, is basically just a mobile space station. Anything beyond that, you're looking at an actual like asteroid or something like that. Believe it or not, the Death Star from Star Wars, because it could move itself, is actually considered a Titan class battleship, not a space station. Space stations are stagnant. The only time they have thrusters is to keep them from ending up in a planet's gravity. Excuse me. Sorry for the side rant, folks, but it's amazing how many people won't differentiate and they just throw one of the names out there, frigate, destroyer, cruiser, whatever it might be, and just like it doesn't make sense. War Sniper says, I gotta go. See you in 3 to 4 weeks, everybody. See you, War Sniper. Have a good day. Chris says, I watched Independence Day to see DJ Jazzy Jeff's friend save the world. Just keep his wife's name out of your damn mouth. Oi, Chihuahua. Since we're going to be going there, I don't know if you guys seen, I don't know if it was the Grammys or what the hell it was, but yeah, one of these entertainers, his wife showed up wearing pretty much nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's nice to look at, but all I could say was what the fuck? And speaking of what the fuck, we got a $5 super chat from Guardian Sage. Let me write you down here, Guardian. And he says, you're forgetting about battle cruisers. On the water, they're a bad idea, but in space, they have a role to play in a fleet. Yes, actually, I didn't fully forget about battle cruisers because battle cruisers fall into the cruiser class, just like escort frigates fall into the frigate class. There are subdivisions within each of these. I usually don't go into it too much because it can get a bit confusing. But you are 1,000,000,000,000% correct there, Guardian. Absolutely correct. Battle cruisers are, in fact, a thing. They are supposed to be designed to take on battleships and still keep their speed. That being said, they still can't take the giant hits, not nearly as well as a battleship can. But you're right, battle cruisers on the water was probably one of the worst ideas anybody ever had. If you're going to run something that heavy, just give it the big fucking guns and get it over with. I think those crazy Ruskies were the only ones that got battle cruisers. I don't think we ever got any of ours. But yeah, thank you again, Guardian. I appreciate it. And once again, you are correct, especially in a vacuum. They would actually play into it, but they are part of the cruiser class. So let me get up here. Where was I? Oh, I wasn't that far away. Okay, sorry. This thing's jump. You guys can't see it, but this thing is jumping all around here. Let's see. Okay. See. But yeah, I just want to say that with the whole people are. There's some weird, crazy bullshit that goes on in the music industry. And I mean, really, really, really fucked up shit. We're just finding out with this whole Diddy thing, and it gets so much worse. I've known about some of this stuff for a long time, but since I wasn't officially in the industry, nobody was going to listen to me. So, and the stuff I heard was years and years ago. It doesn't really matter anymore. But the whole idea of people being passed around like a freaking appetizer plate, and we're talking very, very young personnel, it disgusted me to absolutely no end. And if you piss them off, the people who run things, they'll just stop supporting you and you'll just go by the wayside. And one of the key things there is to get yourself back in after you embarrass them or just anger them just a little bit. You have to go through a quote unquote humiliation ritual, which could be why this woman just showed her tits and her cooch all over the freaking screen. One person put the unedited or uncensored version up on his YouTube page, immediately kicked off. You can see the blurred one, but just what's Google for? Seeing naked people anyway. So there you go. Okay. Lena says, I want to remind you that Stone Trek was a thing. Star Trek with Flintstones. Was it? I don't remember that ever. Douglas says, Celsium-123 is a manufactured isotope that is usually only found in weapon explosion sites with the rare exception. Okay. That's probably why I've heard of it before, because I used to be around a lot of impact areas. Usually when we heard the word isotope, it was quickly followed by one of us in charge yelling evac, as in run, just leave. I don't care what anybody says. We're not staying here. Let's see. Ava says, good luck all. I'm out and I need to get up and do exercise. Well, exercise is good for the soul and for the body there, Ava. Good luck to you. Chris Dixon says, the greatest alchemist ever is the one with the toilet. Okay. Now, the thing is, with that one, the kicker is he's going to make a lot of money off of these shit pots. He would make so much more money having his little spider girl constantly weaving undergarments that are made of silk. Okay, you ladies who are still here, I dare you to tell me I'm wrong, but every woman I've known, if you give them silk or satin, they just love you for it because it's so soft and so damn smooth. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not buying this for me, so get whatever you want. I unfortunately had to do that once because there was a little, how do I say, there was an issue. I accidentally let the dog in the house. Dog went into her britches drawer and chewed everything up. We're talking almost $500 or $600 worth of upper and lower undergarments. And boy, was she pissed. Of course, I said, it's your dog. She's like, yeah, but I don't let him in the house. It's like, you could have told me that. Anyway, yeah. I just took her to a certain secret store and said, okay, I'm buying. You get X amount of upper, X amount of lower. Go get what you want. She's like, well, I want your advice. I was like, I'm not going anywhere except I'm standing right here next to the register lady so people don't think I'm a creep. And I'm just going to walk away whenever somebody walks up to buy something, and I'm going to walk back over. So at least I have somebody to say, he's not being a creep. He's just waiting for his girl. You know how many people I know got busted inside the dressing rooms with their woman? Too many. All right. Let's see. Lena says, yeah, I was watching the isekai with the protagonist using online shopping skill, and he sleeps with girls. I am not kidding. Okay, there's a lot of those right there with the online shopping. I don't know which one you're talking about off the top of my head. The only one I know of right now is the one where he's got the giant rear with him, and he's always cooking constantly. And by the way, those recipes are real. I've looked them up, and I've actually done one of them, and it was really good. I don't cook much, so yeah. And as far as the online shopping skill, he sleeps with, yeah. Oh wait, are you talking about the one where he's got the cat girl and stuff like that? Because if that's it, he doesn't actually. He sleeps with her. He doesn't screw her. Okay, that I've actually did read the manga up to the point where he saves everybody from the bandits. I didn't get to see past that, so yeah. Even though people don't like it, I'm still watching that one. At least the recaps. I don't have time to watch the whole episodes. That being said, yeah, a lot of he goes to Pound Town with the receptionist. He doesn't sleep sleep with the furry girl, and it's inferred that he didn't actually sleep with the receptionist. She actually wanted to, but then she got drunk and passed out, and he just wouldn't do it. So he's still pure, so to speak. And then he's got, of course, it's a blonde chick with blue eyes who just wants to friggin' jump on him and give him death by snoo. I think that's the one you're talking about. That being said, that guy's older than I am. So yeah, I could see him being a little wary about, I don't want to be this old creepy guy with all these young girls. What the fuck? Let's see. Eric is saying bye to Ava. Yep. Everybody's saying bye to Ava. Good night. And let's see. Steve, there he is. It was called Greek Fire, but I was referring to a gunship back in the 80s, and in Storm, it was called Puff. Okay. Yeah, I remember. I know all about Greek Fire. A lot of people think it was just oil. It wasn't. It was not just oil, because oil does not light like that. You need something a hell of a lot stronger than just a little candle light to light crude oil. It just doesn't work that way. That being said, if they mixed it with some sort of alcohol, maybe. But you got to remember, when they go over the description, it was sticky. It was very sticky and also burned very, very hot. It didn't just burn, it burned very, very hot. Again, crude oil just wouldn't fly. To this day, I don't think anybody ever really figured it out. Guards here saying, you know what's hilarious? I thought I was going to have to smack the living hell out of two of my friends because they are never seen any of the live action Transformers. Ha! We had a movie night last night, and I finally got them to watch the first one. Yeah, I wouldn't watch any others. I think that's where it died as far as the live action. I will say this. When I heard the original Optimus Prime voice, everybody jumped out of their seat and just cheered. For the first time I watched it, I didn't even know what his first few lines were. I just got him. I'm like, yes, 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 because that's doing it right. If I was in charge of making a Transformers one, would I do it right as best I can? I'd have to tell Michael Bay or whoever the hell it was who just thinks explosions is actual plot to get the fuck away from me so I could do it right. But I did, and I might actually finish the Transformer story that I started, and I got to redo the beginning chapter because there's a glaring flaw in it. I didn't know until I finished it. But yeah, it would be a complete homage to the original. Let's see. Leonid says destroyers are very limited in what they can do. They might have rapid fight against the battle cruisers. That's it. Yeah, but a lot of destroyers have double duty because now that most of them are covered up in missiles, they are very much interceptors. I mean, the Aegis destroyer is a shining example of that. What was it? 400 plus missiles on the damn thing. It's crazy. SM2s, 4s, 6s, harpoons, freaking. Now they want to be outfitted with hypersonics. I'm like, good God, man. But you are right about that. He also says battle cruisers are the main anti-ship ship in my universe, and they might have a lot of rapid fire. Oh, I'm sure they have a lot of rapid fire. I'm just saying they aren't optimized for a certain position, just like destroyers. The only difference between a battle cruiser and destroyer, at least in space combat, is size and speed. Battle cruisers are bigger and slower, but again, different weapons on them. They're not designed for just slug match. They're designed for all arounds, but they're designed to take on multiple destroyers at the same time. Is the way it is. Okay, Chris says, oh, by the way, I caught a cop being dirty this weekend. Really? Trying to give me a DUI. He slathered his hands in hand sanitizer, which threw off the reading when he was holding the breath. Wow, they still try that bullshit? If somebody does that, you can actually say, I will do the breathalyzer, but only from your partner. And he has to give me another one. And make sure their friggin' badge camera is on, and you say it right to their badge camera. Because if you say that to the badge camera and the camera inside the car is always on, if it gets the conversation and you say turn your badge camera on and they refuse to, it's immediately thrown out. I don't care what the fuck you're arrested for. But that was an old trick. If somebody wanted to try something with the original breathalyzers, that's some bullshit, really. Oh man, some people are assholes, just straight up. Okay, Lena says battleships in my universe are frigates. That doesn't make sense because frigates are never designed for slug matches like that. Can they be used in it? Sure, but they're not designed for it. You'd have to explain that more. I'm at a loss. Chris also says we argued it and got another cop to redo the test, and like magic, he passed both other tests. Yep, that happens. Erica here saying Diddy is less than the tip of the iceberg. No, actually, he's a fairly large portion. He was the go-to guy, and that was the reason why. He was the one who facilitated the parties where most of this crazy shit went on. So it would be like getting the ammo supplier in a warfare thing. If you take out the ammo, are you going to take out the enemy? No, but you're going to make a very big dent in things. So he was one of the major players, and if he talks, which if they think he's going to talk, he's going to be Epsteined tonight. But he was a major player, and you notice everybody's abandoning him. Everybody's trying to distance themselves, but you got to be careful. You got to be somebody who's that well connected can do some crazy shit. Okay, Guard says them Soviets were crazy with their navy. Apparently, during the early years of World War II, they were so desperate for light armored ships. I could pack a punch. They attached T-34 turrets to them. Really? I didn't hear about that. That's crazy. I know a lot of their post-World War II ships kind of, sucked, for lack of a better term. I know a lot of their subs were terrible. They didn't do a lot of submarine warfare back in the day. But I think I forget who it was. I think it was like Coca-Cola or something bought up their fleet at one point and just sold it for scrap. And they made a killing off that metal. That was a lot of leftover weapons. But yeah, if you're attaching T-34 turrets, That's pretty goddamn desperate right there. That's the old jerry rig where the people in the German army that they called the Jerrys were just figuring out a way to bolt weapons onto anything that has wheels, an engine, and operates. You know, it comes down to, if it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. But those turrets don't have the best of range, especially for naval warfare. I mean, you'd have to get you need a PT boat to get up close. Let's see. A guard says, light armored ships that could pack a punch. Stupid autocorrect. Okay. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the on land has a similar type vehicle. It's called a tank destroyer. A really big gun, moves really, really fast, so it can reposition, but it has dick for armor. A machine gun could take out the crew. And usually it's an open top. So, yeah, there's always a matchup there. Erica, she's giving us some insight, guys. She says, I love silk or cotton with a satin weave. Maybe I should say that more seductive. I like silk or cotton with a satin weave. I have now been issued one more homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute. Okay. Let's see. Lean, a 40-year-old man gets sent to another world. Yep. Now, one of the funniest ones I've seen, I kid you not, and unfortunately, this was years ago. It was a manga, and it was a older guy. He was about 10 years older than I am now. And it was to the point where, like, his back was giving out and stuff like that. He was having trouble walking, and he got isekai'd. Of course, he got hit by a truck, just like all the rest of them. And he's like, well, I don't want to be isekai'd. Look at me. I'm an old man. What the fuck? And they're like, oh, by the way, you don't have a body. He's like, what? Oh, fuck. It's gone. Now, I know they did this with the other one, but he's like, wait, can I design my own body? They're like, yeah. He has fun with that. Oh my, I'm just sitting, and almost the entire first 3 chapters is him trying different things and adjusting the body, the way he's going to look as a kid, the way he's going to look as an adult. Is he going to grow wings? Is he going to grow a tail? Does he have horns? Does he have a big snout? Whatever. And it's funny. I don't know what the hell it was called, but it was funny. It was funny because it was dumb. And the thing is, after everything, he goes right, just like I know you guys have done this, where you see your girl, she tries on her first outfit, you go with that, honey. And she, no, I want to try these. And she goes through all the different outfits and then goes back to that initial one. Says, I like this one. We know you do. Can we go now? You know, it was literally like that with the actual goddesses that were telling him, hey, just pick one and go. But he was literally just killing time. But the thing is, he didn't realize what the actual joke was. He wasted all their time, but time doesn't actually exist in their realm. So it was annoyance. He was being annoying just to be annoying. Let's see. Guard says, try the mango jungle juice. I'm pretty much done with the jungle juice for a while. I mean, this is soda, guys. It's actually the only time I have a soda when I'm talking to you guys. Let's see. Lena says, he gives a girl a box of candles and then draws her pictures, and then she wants to marry him. Cat girl jumped into his bed and was naked. Yeah, she was, but she didn't actually screw him. The thing is, they even said that in the anime. She's like, I want to sleep with you. And you actually look, he's still in his clothes, and she's laying on top of him, curled up like you ever lay there and a cat just curls up on you? That's what she was doing. She was sleeping. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? In the manga, they're actually out in the woods, and she actually has her skirt, and she raises her tail and forces the skirt back to expose her wonder bits. Obviously, you can't see it, but it's insinuated. There's subtle differences between the manga and the anime. Of course, there's going to be. I mean, seriously, they're not going to show a cat girl coochie on TV. I mean, they already have this weird thing about pubic hair over there. You really think they're going to show full body pubic hair on that? No, ain't gonna happen. Let's see. Guard says a company creates bug spray that if you spray a bug with it, the bug will crumple into dust. But if you inhale it, you end up gaining, partially mutating into an insect and having its ability. That's disturbing. And the main character gains the ability of one of the giant dragonflies. You got me. I haven't seen it. Have not seen it. Chris jumps over. He says, with what we've been talking about tonight, we've touched on so much of part 2. I'll try to clean it up. Okay, so you're going to rewrite part 2. Okay, I'm going to hold off on everything I've done with part 2. I'm going to wait till you send me whatever you're going to send me. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, Chris, I can actually see a little bit of your thought process. And this is actually a good thing because this is how you start out. Your subconscious is hitting the subtext, even though you don't realize it. And when you actually are writing something, you're seeing it in your mind, you're seeing it happening, and you don't quite have your subconscious telling you what's actually going on just yet. It'll happen. Don't worry. It happened to me. When I was a kid and I first started writing, I didn't know why I put extra stuff in there. I just did it. And even though people said, "Oh, it was really good," I didn't know why I even put it in. But don't worry, it'll come up. So I look forward to it, Chris. I very much look forward to reading it. Let's see. Lena says the battleships in my universe are stronger than cruisers. They have a lot more armor and good guns. Cruisers are glass cannons and have some rapid fire. I would hope your battleships are stronger than cruisers. Yeah, I wouldn't call a cruiser a glass cannon unless you specifically set it up that way. They usually cruisers have decent armor. The glass cannon is the destroyer, just like the tank destroyer on land. There's a lot of guns, very quick, but good God, can't take a hit. Cruisers were designed more to do the same thing as or similar to a destroyer, but be able to take a hit. Yeah. Guardian Sage, nice Demolition Man reference. Yeah. Actually, that's not mine. That's a buddy of mine. He has another podcast, and he actually has a button he push, and you actually hear and it actually does the sound of the buzzer going off. So you've been fined one. You've been fined 1 credit for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute, and it's that same digital voice. It's just, oh my God, I'm gonna have to get it from him. This is crazy. Let's see. Steve says the open top I think you're talking about was the ZSU 234, had the ground radar and was one scary motherfucker. No, this one, no, it's not. This one didn't have ground. The one, if you're talking tank destroyer, that's not the one I'm talking about. It's called the wild or the Wildcat. Yes, is same name as the fighter, so it is what it is. Let's see. Guard, yeah. The name is called Jungle Juice. Ironically, it's the name of the spray that turned into the Dragonfly hybrid. Also, only gave him wings and spikes on his arms, though. Okay. Steve even says he really loves your story, Prozac and Pancakes. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Chris says, no, it's cool. You are way better at that than... Dude, don't talk bad about yourself. Just do me that favor. Because if you do that, you're going to psych yourself out. Okay. Something, I'm sure you've heard it throughout your life too. Don't talk bad about yourself or you're going to mess yourself up. It's the same thing as, Muhammad Ali. I'm the greatest I'm ever. I'm fast. I'm so fast. I hit the switch and I was in bed before the lights went out. I'll show you how great I am. He always talked himself up. And that's what you got to do. Okay. Just like saying, okay, I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. That's fine. I got no problems with that. But please don't talk bad about yourself. If you can clean it up and go, if you can clean it up, go for it. I'm always unstuck at the third part with Raccoon City. Just for right now, just fix up part 2. Because you already sent me the first story. I'm guessing you're on the third part of the story. Fix up part 2, send it to me, and I'll wait. I got a whole nother series I got to go through. You guys have voted for different ones. I just got to pull one out of the pocket, and we'll get to it. So again, no rush. Down here with Guard, he says, fun fact: a lot of flak Panzers in World War II were just jerry-rigged Panzer 3s and 4s, with there being at least 3 real-life Panzer versions known as the Kugelblitz. Yeah, I could see that. What's your friend's YouTube channel? Gruntspeak. They do a live thing every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays is really the deep hitting philosophical, like really what's going on, deep shit. You want funny stuff, watch them on Thursday. Yeah, they're one's an old grunt like me, but he was in SF. I was a line guy. And his partner in crime is just a regular civilian. So they kind of play off each other like the Odd Couple. Or better yet, if you ever seen the Red Green Show, you're going to sit there and go, just like them. And just like Guard says, yeah, okay. See, okay, you guys are talking back and forth. And okay, you guys are funny. Going back and forth. Yeah, a book and story is just like any other thing. It's done one at a time, one step at a time. That reminds me, thank you guys. You remind me of something. I'm glad you brought that up, because right here, I was going through series on what I wanted to do. And the first one that came up was actually flying bricks. A lot of you guys said, hey, I want you to extend flying bricks. Well, I went through my notes, and some reason I can't find the motherfucking notes. So I actually went through and listened to it over again. So as you see on the top here, I was taking notes, how to continue it. And then I got to the end, and I'm like, I can't do anything with that. It ended just about perfect. Could it be extended? Yes. Could I do justice to the storyline? No. It ended pretty well as far as I'm concerned. If it can end with the actual title, I'm good. Or at least mention the title, that's even better. But still, yeah, flying bricks. If you guys want that one to be extended, it's not even on the table right now to be done, because it ended literally building brick by brick. And thankfully, Erica, you reminded me of that with what you put, stories written one word at a time. Yep. Just like the journey of 1,000 paces begins with a single step and a lot of bitching. Guard wants to come in with a steel chair. Give him the chair. Give him the chair. Let's see. Chris says, nice. Be careful or I'll turn your ship into Kit from Knight Rider. One of the other channels that I watch, he does Gen X and versus millennial memes. And he actually had a thing like, what was Kit's evil twin's name? And for you don't even bother writing it. I'm just going to say it's not KITE as in Knight Industry 2000. It was KARR, Knight's Automated Roving Robot. Guard says his YouTube channel is named Grunt Speak Shorts. That they do several. Most of it's under redonkulous.com. Do they do shorts? Yeah, he does shorts and stuff like that. They just try to make fun of stuff and get things a little lighter. They do jokes I can't do. It'd be nice if I was that jovial. I'm just not that good. Let's see. Steve says, hell, all the stories on here have been great, but that's because they're not perfect. And that's what gives them all the human factor on all levels. Love y'all. Night. Yep. Seems like everybody's starting to sign off here. Yeah, guard, by the way, it's redonkulous spelled with a K. But anyways, yeah, as it turns out, I've been doing some snooping, and I believe I'm one of only about 4 people on this planet who still write or actually produce original content. Everybody else who actually speaks the supposedly original content is just sitting there behind there, downloads something off Reddit and reads it. Don't get me wrong. Net Narrator, Aqua Squirrels, and those guys do a really good job. I got no problems with that. Hey, get the bag how you want, guys. It's all good. It's just they don't actually produce their own stuff. Now, the thing is, everybody wants to write a book nowadays. I just don't have time to write a damn book. If I did, I wouldn't be making any stories on here because all my time would be taken up. That being said, yep, looks like everybody's starting to sign off. So I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to let you guys with your safety brief. Remember, if you drive, you don't drink. If you drink, you don't drive. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat their ass. It's a whole lot easier to explain to the cops why you just kicked the crap out of your best friend than it is to go to your best friend's funeral. Make sure if your little soldier goes in the bush, he's got to wear his poncho, man. It gets real wet in the bush, man. Real wet. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, giggity. Also, if you're going to be partaking in any of the harder stuff, I don't recommend it, guys. It ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it. Everybody I know who's got clean that stuff says the same thing. It wasn't ever worth it. It wasn't worth it. Plus, I'll be a little pissed you didn't invite me. Also, again, folks, it is still spring. It is still partially winter, which means there's going to be ice on the roads. It's going to ice up around here as well. Take care on the roads. Drive as slow as you need to hell with everybody behind you. If they don't like the fact that you're driving slow, then they can kiss the darkest part of your ass. Because I'd rather you all make it back here next week when we continue with another Syntext Live. I will see you all later. This is your host, Ejecting.